Thank you for clicking on this rapid book review. These rapid book reviews are taken from my monthly wrap-ups in an effort for these book reviews to live on longer than the 72-hour shelf life of a typical YouTube video. If you like this video, check out more of Red Fury books. Thanks for stopping by. All right, the next one in the fantasy genre, also by Brandon Sanderson, new release this month, and a series finale, was The Lost Metal, which is the fourth and final book of Mistborn Era 2, the Wax and Wane book. So let me just answer first. Does Sanderson stick the landing? And I say for the most part, yes, he does stick the landing. Now, I do have some criticisms of this book, and I am going to warn you, I'm going to talk longest about this book of any of the books on this video today, because I have a lot to say about it. I was going to do a full video, but work has been crazy, and I haven't had time, so I'm putting it all here. If you don't want to hear me talk about Sanderson, skip to the book of the month. But let me talk about The Lost Metal, because a lot of it was very good, but I have some truly grave concerns for Sanderson's work in the future and whether I will continue loving this author like I have so far. So let me first talk about what a book series finale is supposed to do. It's supposed to wrap up what the trajectory of the series has been doing. So we have had essentially the first three books of this series have been about four characters, Wax, Wane, Marasi, and Steris, and kind of their journey in this landscape that is kind of a quasi-Western and fantasy mashup, which I've enjoyed quite a bit. And it has been building into bigger things. You know, there are gods involved, and it does get bigger than just this little Western fantasy thing. But it was still kind of a smaller, slighter tale until this book. And that's my first criticism of this book, is it did not feel like Wax and Wane Part 4 as much as The Greater Cosmere Book 1. Now, I know most reviewers have been raving about that. And I get it. If that's your thing, The Greater Cosmere, you probably love this book. I haven't seen a lot of detracting views, so I know I'm one of the only ones, even though I still gave it a favorable rating. This felt like a Cosmere book, but it did not feel like the conclusion to Mistborn Era 2. And that was one of the inherent problems for me with this book, is I wanted those four characters' story wrapped up. And he does it. But in the middle of this book, I would estimate like 30% in to 80% in, it was all about the Cosmere. And I think it detracted from things. There's one aspect of Sanderson's writing that I've always been critical, even though he's probably a top 10 author for me. A lot of times he gets really excited about something, and it's just word vomit at you, and he's repetitious with it. And there's so many times in his books where I'm like, Brandon, stop. I understood your magic system the first 11 times you told me. You didn't need to tell me a 12th time. And that's what I felt here with all this Cosmere stuff. I've always enjoyed the Cosmere things when they were like Easter eggs, like, oh, there's Hoyd, or seeing in Stormlight something that came from Warbreaker that those of us that have read all of these that we notice, I've enjoyed those, but here it was just done with not a lot of finesse. It was just kind of thrown at you. And all of a sudden, this felt like a Cosmere book instead of Mistborn Era 2, which is what I was expecting as this book to be, because it's the conclusion of Mistborn Era 2. So I had problems with that. It really reminded me, and I know that Sanderson's trying to make this literary MCU, but it reminded me that as soon as we got an Avengers movie with MCU, every movie after that felt like the Avengers. It didn't matter if it was Captain America or Iron Man or Thor. It was just another Avengers movie with a different title. Some people like that. I didn't like that. And I just wonder if at some point I have to part ways with this author, because that's what he's doing. I really hope he doesn't destroy Stormlight Archive like this, because I really felt that all of the Cosmere implications actually detracted from this book. So that's my biggest issue with this book. And I know I'm in the minority. I think Matt from Matt's Fantasy Book Reviews is the only reviewer I've seen that's been kind of on the detractor side about this. But I was not a fan of all of that. I thought it was just not done very elegantly, and it just kind of hit you over the face with it. Frankly, it disappeared at the end, and Sanderson did stick the ultimate landing to this book. But from about 30% to 80%, I have grave concerns about Sanderson's future as an author, to be honest. What I did like was the ultimate ending of this. About 80% into the book, the big Cosmere things kind of fade into the background, and he talks about those four characters, and he ends their story superbly. One of them has a very emotional ending, which, even though I saw it coming a mile away, was written extremely well. There's a battle sequence at the end with Wax and Wayne and two big baddies that may be the best action sequence Sanderson's written. It's so well done, so clever, so inventive. Just reminds me just the imagination this author has, and that's what's always drawn me to him. So I did talk probably more negatively on this mini review than positively, but I did give it a positive rating. My ultimate rating for The Lost Metal was a 3.5 out of 5. And I do look forward to the books that come out next from him. Thank you for watching this rapid book review. As this is not the typical type of content that I normally produce, please check out one of these other videos that you see on the screen. Those are more indicative of the type of things that I put on my channel. And if you did like this video and you like future videos, I'd love for you to subscribe to the channel, or even just click the thumbs up icon below. It really does help. Thank you for watching. Until next time, goodbye.